Hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Give OBS a second to start capturing the game, I suppose. There we are. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Well, technically we're playing the Great Ace Attorney Resolve, the second game. But yeah, we're gonna keep going on with the Return of the Great Departed Soul. Which, if you need a refresher, so far the dude we're defending keeps shooting us in the foot, basically. And it's quite irritating. Like, we were close to starting to prove that it was an accident, and he kept insisting about his stupid hypothesis of something that can't happen and ruining our day. That said, the good news, of course, is that, sorry, there's a voice on my phone. I just need to make sure that, okay. Sorry, I just need to make sure it wasn't pager duty going out to bother me. What was I saying? I was saying something. I was about to say something. And I've forgotten it entirely. Great, excellent. Anyway, we're gonna play this until I hit a continue, and then depending on how much time is left in the day, I will possibly swap games, perhaps. I kind of want to play Remnant 2 again if there is time for that. And I also have the demo for Pikmin 4, because that's been out for a little bit, and I've been meaning to play the demo, and I was thinking about playing that on stream. So if not today, then possibly maybe Pikmin on Friday. That might happen. We'll see. But it'll just be the demo, though. In the meanwhile, though, we can continue on with our happy little court session. And hello, News. Cute little Ishtar, being adorable. Mr. Naruhodo, what on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at along? My hypothesis! My amazing hypothesis! You've been poking holes in it from the start! Sorry about that. But you promised me. You said you proved that dreaded explosion was an accident, not murder. You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you've done so far is try to undermine me. Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? Yeah, but if I just run through some equations... Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Oh, Nemus, I meant to ask you if you played more Final Fantasy 16 or not on stream. I've been catching Vinesauce's, like his VODs on YouTube, because he's been doing a playthrough of it. And it's good stuff. I think he's past the point where I saw you were at before, because I remember you were wandering around with Jill doing errands for that lady who was helping out Sid or something like that. But yeah, it's good stuff. The story and everything like that. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh no! Sorry, I don't want to scream in my apartment, so... You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject... What about Brock? He's been awful. Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster. Not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being! Oh, but no, wait, he's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore? Glad that's cleared up. I like that he just called his friend not a human anymore. Can I double check something with you? Yes, what? The machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved? I drew the plan to the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. Oh, that's what it was. I just remember what I was going to say earlier. There was a paper published today, I believe, about superconductivity. I know this sounds like a very dry subject, but there was a thread on Tweetars explaining the importance of such a thing, and basically there was a lot of good stuff there. This feels relevant because science. So this dude was breaking down some of the things that are important, but essentially like reducing the waste of like the grids. So 100 billion kilowatts of electricity not wasted anymore. Like, and the other crazy thing is that the everything that was going on here, like the way you make this superconductive shit, can be done in like a regular lab within 34 hours. And like its applications include nuclear fusion, as well as quantum computers and batteries, as well as like, you know, making sure your shit doesn't overheat. So like maybe you don't need a fan in your computer anymore if you get yourself some superconductive happy go times business. So this person was pretty excited about all this stuff. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, supposedly that's the thing that came out today. And the reason it was kind of floating around was like they published a paper, and they published it with 6 authors, and then they also published basically the same paper with 3 authors. And I learned today that 3 authors is the maximum limit for a paper that like receives the Nobel Prize. So they're going for the Nobel Prize basically in science for chemistry, I suppose. I'm not sure, physics, chemistry. Either way, if it does actually, you know, turn out to like be a big breakthrough and whatnot, we might see like battery prices go down, I imagine, or at the very least, battery efficiency go way up. So, be cool. Anyway. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Rahodo, you must believe in it. All right, Professor. I understand.
Counsel, defendant. The prosecution's witness are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please.
Okay. Okie dokie. It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Shulmans was adamant. The practical implementation, such as was attempted by the Professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? That is the great question, isn't it, Naruto? If we prove him innocent, we prove his contraption is crap. If we prove his contraption isn't crap, we prove him to be a murderer. Quite a fun little perjury or something going on. Alright, so who are the witnesses that Van Zeeks has gotten?
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene proceedings of this court. Counsel for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?
The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord.
So, Lord Van Zeeks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes.
Indeed they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. Oh, it's Gina. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect. A detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused.
Thank you, Counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now.
Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. So it's Gina and who exactly? Wait, whoa, that's not Gina. Oh, there's Gina. Who the fuck is this weirdo, though? Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear. I don't know a voice to give this guy.
My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the impresario of a whole hot air balloons in the vicinity of the experimental stage. My name is Wilhelm Gottfried Stephen Ornstein. I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. I'm very rich.
Yeah, I see that.
Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Alex Sholmes agrees. I was on security duty. I was on security duty at the exhibition. I got to go up in one of them balloons. It's amazing.
Gina. Again. But she did mention that she's seen the disasters from up in a balloon, actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time, and saw events unfold from the skies above.
Make it sound like they were in the clouds. I was only an altitude of circa 60 feet. Very low.
Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can you? 60 feet. About 18 meters, then.
Thank you for your introductions. Now you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage.
It was an incident terrible. I'm only grateful that my balloons are not damaged. There's this huge bang from the stage, and the next second another bang in the sky beside us. And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. A cage. It fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
A most extraordinary,
Excuse me.
a most extraordinary collective account, I must say.
Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions? More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places. Yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2... Oh, God, I just can't say. Excuse me. Sometimes you just forget to inhale and then you run out of air. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred, directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. I still have lots of money.
Precisely. Who is this curious infant?
I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Exhibition.
Yeah, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip to my elementary school.
We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony.
Do we really need that? When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
Ha! Yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure.
Yeah, everybody says so.
Great disguise, then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Osmond on the stage, could possibly have committed the murder.
Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please.
Yes, my lord.
Alright. So I wonder how this is gonna work. Like, the thing I'm thinking of is like maybe they somehow dropped the birdcage from a higher up balloon or something, and then made an explosion happen to like distract it. Like, there's some tomfoolery going around here for sure. I just don't know where it is yet.
There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand.
I'm yawning again.
See, all 3 of them. My Bellissimi Bambini. They are very popular, signor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride.
£10? That's more than my annual stipend.
£20 a month? That is my pocket money.
Why was that worth the luck?
I got up there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty's Police Guard, you know.
Detectives have all the luck.
If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Because if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other.
The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area.
See, in the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me.
Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed on the incident.
Right, I can fill you in there, my lord. There's this huge bang from the stage, and the next second another bang in the sky and bang in the sky beside us. So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air? Yep, in an amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Odo, being a lawyer's a mug game. You should join the force, we can go flying together.
You know me so well.
Yes, well, anyway. Could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything. We saw everything, because we were up above it all. That dodgy cove climbing into that cage, and that dodgy professor pulling on them levels. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared, just like that.
You were describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by electricity, I believe.
I don't know what to make of it. But then there was another bang right in my ear. I looked around, and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky.
That's Peter.
And there was nothing there before.
What is this baby face chewing on there? Looking.
Excuse me.
And, Master Gortz, does your memory of the day differ? My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their phone name. Ah, yes. What was it again? Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. Just the forenames, then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps? Oi, get it right, Odo. It's Inspector Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? That is not what I saw. Oh? Yeah. There was a second explosion, and it was right beside our balloons, that is true. But I'm sure... Which is what I said, isn't it? One minute there was nothing there, the next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon? What? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it, and you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say the lies. That is not allowed. On the bleeding wall, keep caught, are you? Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police.
In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interests of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia.
Excuse me. Sorry, I just need to check something real quick. Sorry.
It was not the sky that exploded. It was a green balloon that was right next to us at the time.
Hold it!
A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that?
Of course I'm sure. I'm a proud Bohemian Prince. All these questions are making me boring.
I think you mean bored.
Look, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior.
Ragozo, it is very wrong to lie.
Lie? Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is illogical.
Please tell me that doesn't mean logical.
If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia. But I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them.
Here you are, Your Highness. If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in our courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon?
No. I did not see the explosion myself. However...
Wait, I just realized his hat has a... His hat is a balloon with a flame in it. Oh, that must be so uncomfortable.
The cage. It fell from the sky like a stone. Crashed into the critical tower.
Did you see that actually happen?
No. In reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grand confusion around the stage. I went to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed.
I suppose they are his livelihood.
But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now.
Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade.
That's what I like to hear. I'll get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after crashing the tower.
Hold it!
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away?
Eh? You sure had, Odo. How could it have been me? I was up in a balloon, wasn't I? Right. So, because I weren't available, it was the boss who had to leg it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicked spectators. He tried to steal off the scene. It's a real sight to behold, I can tell you. Amazing. Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke. No, I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared of me wits. Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it actually was some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Okay. Huh. So interesting. I mean, the hint there is, that we gotta look at what people actually saw, right? But clearly it's not just gonna be a regular old pressing. So what could possibly be presented, I guess? Probably not the crossbow at the moment. There is a piece of green cloth, though. Maybe I can use this? Because that means that this is probably a piece of the balloon. Oh, wait. I think I know what it is. Loon said... which one of Loon's things was about explosions, right? And how balloons don't explode, but we have a piece of balloon that clearly has scorch marks on it. So which one was that? It was a green balloon that was next to us. Okay. Okay. So I don't know if I just need to press. Sorry, I figured I'd save myself having to read through that bit. I'm only going to think about balloons are not damaged. But his balloon was damaged, right?
Objection!
Yeah, okay, cool. Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all three of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible. What did you just say? I wonder if you might know what this is. Oh, I think it may be. See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry, the envelope. Pardon. That is the large, round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You don't want it to rip when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Mr. Watts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. Yeah. If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No! I like that his balloons popped.
If a balloon exploded that day, well, then might say so. Maybe everybody on board was killed.
Who knew? Having just spent 10 whole pounds for the experience? Awful. Oh wow, that's like a submarine. Seems to me like those things crash 50% of the time anyway.
Objection!
The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon.
Causing the balloon to explode. Yes, eminently plausible.
An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were. But it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. This I cannot accept! Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I am a liar! The person's died in a balloon incidente. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day. Look at Van Zeek's using puns in the courtroom. That's right, and I prove it! Balthazar Loon is not a liar! There was no such balloon in the sky! It's not possible! You're saying it's impossible. Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day.
Objection!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon.
I concur. There's clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Oh, grazie, my lord. Oh, he's so happy to have his chance. Alright, let me save. And then give me a second. As I said, Balthasar Loon is no liar. Every balloon had the Skylander safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe. I don't speak Italian, so I don't. I assume he's supposed to be Italian. Is he Italian or French? Italian, right? He says C, so... And he's not Spanish, I don't think. But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt-up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can you? The culprits at the yard reckons probably some debris from the explosion on the stage. This stupid ruggeds was mistaken. My balloons had the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you?
Si, exactamente. If he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. Look at that thing pulsate right there. If a good man to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war. All out war. What happened to all out war? Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying. But that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here.
If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend.
It's weird to me that he's not calling me his learned Nipponese friend so far in this court case. It makes me think that he's really like holding back, you know? Like not just holding back his general loathing of the Japanese people, but like that he's playing along a bit or doing something in regards to like making sure his friend's happy and stuff, you know? I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
Do. Excuse me again. Sorry, I've been waking up early recently, so the yawns are hard to avoid, I suppose. As I said, Balthasar Loon is no liar!
Hold it!
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe? Signor. I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But you're talking about 3 enormous balloons! Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grand and expensive?
I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons.
I'm sorry, he still has 3 balloons? Doesn't that imply that the one that exploded wasn't his then?
It would appear no mistake has been made then.
Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task. What, me? I'll tell you what, I told the boss. He said kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bought it and said he'd have to go himself in that case. Huh. Look at Lestrade. It's just like, no, I'm actually an absolute ignoramus. Okay, so it can't... This is contradictory, right? Like, if there were 3 balloons in the sky, and all 3 are still okay, then clearly a balloon did not explode.
Hold it!
It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiota? Sorry. That's just like asking why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright. And a balloon flies because it flies. What else? Huh. That must be Italian for I don't know.
There are 2 types of flying balloons. Hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air.
See, and my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe.
Hydrogen. Lighter than air, but highly explosive.
Good lord! I do not permit smoking or the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire.
Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode.
What is the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosion, explosion. I tell you my balloons are perfectly safe. I don't know why I'm suddenly being French. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day, I'm completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? Yeah, see, that's the question I've been asking. But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of cloth was found on the scene, can you?
Hold it!
I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Ah, not into picking stuff up off the ground, me. Always works out way better. Diving into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is, though, the catering crashed into the Crystal Tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Oh, listen to you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a badge, have you? Like this one? I'm gonna arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorch on the ground at a meeting we had about the investigation. The corp was at the yard back and there was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage.
Hold it!
There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah. Some of the coast they were watching the experimental caught in blasting engine. Good job the old contraption didn't kill over, right? I hadn't even considered that.
It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions.
Like me swiping all his fish and chips, eh? The man's sole pleasure. All this matters! The scrap of balloon envelope means nothing. Niente. The stupid ragazzo was mistaken. My balloons are the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. How offensive it... Oh, ragazzo is lad. Okay. It means like boy or like child. Lad. It's not every day I feel that like you see a translate thing just like translates straight up to lad, you know?
I like that. I like that word. You mean the color is wrong?
Si, senor. I don't have any green balloons in my warehouse.
And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon.
Well,
I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you'd agree.
You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition?
si, exactamente. As the senor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly, this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw.
Oh, I don't think he likes that.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Master Gotz?
It's Master Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ornstein.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear all over Bohemia. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh?
Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments.
Evidence. What is this evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Good gracious.
What? I had not been up in the balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian visit, of the streets of London, of the hotel cellar, of the balloon.
And the instantaneous kinesis experiment. Did you take a picture of that?
Yeah, one picture.
Really? You did take one?
But all I wanted was a ride by a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments.
Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph?
Of course. And then you will see that I am not lying. That I really did see a green balloon.
That's a balloon that is empty.
Well, I see you are too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from the photographs, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. Wee! Wee!
The umlauts over the fucking A's.
Wee! Yeah.
Sorry. It's too fun to make some very annoying noises. That is one very bohemian sounding cry.
Wee!
Very well. The court will accept this photograph as evidence.
It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph?
Well, it was on the day of the big explosion.
You don't say.
When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face.
That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred.
Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig.
Lovely language you've been picking up. Can't we tell from the zigzag pattern, though? As I thought. Mr. Loon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. So I'm going to save real quick. da, 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 da. Sorry, good music. The young Bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon, but Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility. It's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken with the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Alright, let me examine this evidence real quick. Okay, so what we got going on here? We can see the dude with the levers. We can see Osman, or possibly maybe like a wax thing of Osman or something. Probably actually a wax thing of Osman. In the birdcage. We can see all the smoke and steam coming out. The other thing that we can see is this very bright flash, or like a gun bullet or something. Something is flying up to hit this balloon that's going to pop it, right? And there's no one in the damn thing either. Or at least no one we can see. But I mean, they could put a body in here, right? Like, if this is a wax doll somehow, maybe? Because this is a wax doll, or the other one is... No, this would probably be the wax doll, like if that's going to be a part of the case. Because the wax would melt from the electricity, right? And disappear entirely, maybe? But if they put the body of Osman, who's already dead, in here, then he would fall down and look like he was there. So there's people running. Look at that. And the lady just sitting here. I wonder if you can see anything else. Like, is there anyone with the crossbow? Or anything at all? Our balloon landed safely. All three of my balloons were carrying passengers. There are no passengers in this picture, my friend.
Objection!
Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else. Something crucially important. What? It shows the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Oh, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There'd be no sense in it otherwise.
See, they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So, when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies with the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. Oh, I know nothing. Yet, I can only tell you one thing. Yet this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine. Look at the fucking thing pulsate. There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing. See, the competition trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because the experimental that went wrong on the stage. This fourth balloon exploded the very same moment Mr. Osman was beamed from the stage below. Right. So there were scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. Bits of balloon raining down. Because no one was in it, didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader.
clearly has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Oh, don't they look busy? Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No. I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' mind are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? There's gotta be something. Right? What else can I learn from this? Stab bone. I mean, there's this, right? That's gotta be something to do with that.
Objection!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please, don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may wait, it's Master Gotts. Like for Gotts. May well be hiding one more vital clue. What's that? The vital clue?
Objection!
Look at this crazy face. Well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definites now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? The cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault. Evidently, because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized and the skyward had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited. No, that's not what happened. What?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way, that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is... right here. Right?
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white light that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is.
Goodness, what's that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes.
Oh, golly. Do you think it might be lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe he may be looking at fire.
A bolt of fire, heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed. Even to my hazy eyes it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection!
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how exactly that happened. Sorry, that was not what that just said. What evidence?
If such evidence exists, counsel, then for goodness sake present it, man. Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appeared to be headed directly for the balloon?
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord! Is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately... Blimey, you're right! That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, don't it? the explosion of the balloon, it was very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it. No. Sorry. I need water. My throat's getting dry.
Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used the gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharge.
Of course. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, someone had shot a gun off in the exhibit grounds, it would cause a real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all of this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend? There it is. Okay, Van Zieks is back in form. If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute. What are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up from the sky after all? Or what?
My goodness me.
Now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along.
Did I just hear that correctly, Counsel?
There's no going back now. The horse is bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared, to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day.
Yes, I... Good grief!
Yeah.
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you described is no science experiment. It's child's play. A contemptible display of stage magic. Both Mr. Sholmes and I said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day.
And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that?
If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3. All that would be needed is a doppelganger. Someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Osmond, and having this other man appear on stage in front of the show as a body double. Yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Osmond must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon from the start.
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend on the mixture ratio. Juror number 4.
Flying balloons are really filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode. By controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosion force can be altered.
The mixture ratio? Obviously. The victim's body would have suffered some burns, that would be unavoidable. But not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible. So everything that happened can be explained, logically, and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Osman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time.
Ugh.
This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Von Zieg's can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrine is a suspect now. Oh, but he's about to fuck it up, isn't he? Yeah, damn it. Get out of here, Harebrine. Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Professor? You can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry?
What's all this about, Mr. Harebrine?
Hi. Albert Harebrine, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Odie Osmond. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What are you doing? What are you doing, you fool?
Order! 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 Defendant, explain the sudden confession.
Professor Harebrine, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis, my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would all be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it. It's clear that you drew the plan to the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can prove... Baroque!
Yes.
I'll cooperate. I'll do what you say, I swear it. So please. Ensure the special dispensation for scientific experiment act is adhered to and protect my creation. That is such a hard fucking thing to say. Ensure the special dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act is adhered to and protect my creation. The amount of like tongue wiggles that this does makes me feel like oh, what's his name? The JoJo man with the cherries. That guy.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend.
What?
And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved.
Can't I have it both ways? Can't I say that it was used as a murder weapon, but it wasn't his fault? Because it was all planned beforehand or something like that?
Well, Counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
What Professor Harebrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the Professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
Wakarima-san. Kuru-kuru.
Mr. Naruto! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up something, but what? The defense asserts that the defender's instantaneous kinesis machine was, in fact, bullshit. No machine is worth your life, dude. Or is this the wrong answer? Ah! No, I can't say it. My client placed his faith in me. I can't just let him down. What must I give up on? It's not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect? Hello again, Mr. Naruto. It's been far too long. Susato-san. But what are you... My first Susato takedown in 6 months. There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruto. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Harebrain. Yes! Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Osmond. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now.
So, you finally opened your eyes.
What?
And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
Baroque. Lord Von Zeeks. Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before.
Like calling someone by their first name in like a slightly gentle way.
In truth, there's one thing. Something I remember that's of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon.
Professor, did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Tall. Taller than me and thin. Thinner than me. With straight hair. Straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see here. One last lens to me too. A monocle. A rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man, you see. I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention.
What?
He built the machine. That's right. Mr. Osmond introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Dribbler. Or sorry, Enoch. Enoch Dribbler. Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber? Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber? Inoctober? Inaudible? Enoch. Sorry, I'm trying to see if there's a pun here. Enoch Drebber. If there is something like a homonym type deal going on, I'm not hearing it. Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber.
Enoch Drebber? Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered. Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination.
I don't name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he?
I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascals out of the government research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I've heard them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experiments or such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you.
Gotta get him in the courtroom. Excuse me.
So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion.
Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
Even though no one else believed it. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you are so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick and a work of deception, that everything I'd worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect.
So you really had no idea that, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
It's entirely possible that Mr. Osmond and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money.
When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moments of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor.
Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Fonseca.
My lord.
The court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Drebber.
Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord.
When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning. Get out of my sight, I need to eat a sandwich.
Yeah, it's lunchtime. Sorry. That face you make. It's a good face he's making.
Okay.
Mr. Naruto. Yes. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry. Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Dripper was really up to, I mean. About what he was really constructing? Naturally. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis. All my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it. Alright. In that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly the murder accusation against you still stands. So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Thank you for doing so much for me. Yeah, no problem, dude. Oh, our girl's back. I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruto. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive. Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from you, Bruno, so it'd be a surprise. Well, did it work? I was surprised, all right, especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out. Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in the future. Susie's train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. Well, I'm glad you didn't. Huh. Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm delighted to see you back in London. Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruto. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you. Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest? Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful! I can't wait! Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Susato-sama's back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. To be continued. Okay, I'm gonna save my progress, and I need to check this voicemail, so give me a second here. Oh, it's just a dumb political thing.
This is not an answering machine. Please press 1 to join me.
The most annoying thing about voicemails is that, like, I never remember which buttons to press to, like, delete things, right? Or else I'd press it and I wouldn't have to sit through the entirety of the damn thing. It's just like some old random politician calling for shit.
One more, please. Oh, to delete, press 7. Thank you very much. Cool. All right, no more messages. Very good. All right, so this is good. I'm fairly happy. Like, I like this game. Trust me, I've been playing plenty of it, right? But I want to play more than one game tonight, so we are going to do that. And so we're going to exit this game. I don't need to save. Thank you. We're going to exit the game. I'm going to take a quick break to go to the bathroom, and then I'm going to play a different game for a little bit. So if you would like to see Remnant 2, which is the sequel to Remnant from the Ashes, I'm going to play that some more. I played it a little bit more after I finished up yesterday eve, and yeah, the difficulties are, the differences between the difficulties are kind of insane. So I kind of want to show you all that. But I'm going to kill the stream so I don't have to like render video and whatnot. And so I'll come back online in a minute or so. So I will see you in a little bit.